All right. Good evening, good afternoon, fellow Ambazonians. It's another privilege to come to you with a very special presentation, which I believe is going to be an inspiration to you as you watch and listen today. Today, I will be coming to you with a very special message concerning our revolution, particularly in connection to last weekend's All Ambazonia Consultative Conference, also relating to October 1st celebrations, and also a very special conference that is coming up for all bloggers. If you are a blogger and activist, I got a very special announcement for you today. And I believe this announcement will go to improve a lot of what we do as social media activists. So I have a very special announcement for all our social media activists in this revolution. I will also be talking about the so-called Southwest Elites Association meeting place over the weekend in Boya, and of course the chiefs meetings that took place in Bamenda about a week ago. This is packed full. It's a packed full presentation, and as usual, please, I'd like you to start hitting the share button at this moment. Start hitting the share button at this moment, please. Start hitting the share button at this moment. We want to hit at least 1,000 people before I start this presentation. Let's go back to the figures. 1,000 people in 4 minutes. We are almost 200 people now in 4 minutes. Please, as you join, hit the share button and let the viewership grow. Let the viewership grow. Let people add up. I know that SCTV is also broadcasting live on their own platform, but we need this number on ABC platform to grow to 1,000 before I bring you the presentation. And again, this is a very packed full presentation. It will be inspiring. Thank you for joining. And remember, as you join, let me know where you are joining in from. I like to mention your name and mention where you're joining in from, your location. And of course, I appreciate all the love and all the likes pouring in from all of you who are joining right now. So please, again, you want me to start a presentation right away, go ahead and hit the share button so that I can, the moment we hit 1,000 people, the moment we hit 1,000 people, I will come to you with a presentation proper. So please, thank you again. Good evening. And if you are watching from Ground Zero or from Europe, good afternoon. If you are in continental USA, whether Canada or America, good afternoon to you. Now, I like to see which friends are joining me now. Doro Boss, he says, hi, I see you, sir. I see Mike John, say joining from Ground Zero. Paul Photo, I know you, sir, joining from the Republic of South Africa. I see George Abi Ngafe, join. Paula Meng, yes, I know you too, join. Please, almost 300, a little over 300 people right now. I am waiting for 1,000 people to come to you with this presentation. Again, this is a packed full presentation. I was speaking to you on last weekend's All Ambazonia Consultative Forum or conference in DC, and also talking about the upcoming National Day celebration, Ambazonia National Day celebration coming up October 1st. And of course, again, talking about the elections in La Republique and a number of things. But for bloggers and social media activists, I got a special announcement, a special message for all of you. If you want to get that message as soon as possible, hit the share button, your WhatsApp groups, your Facebook groups, and every group that you know you are a member of. Send the link of this broadcast to those groups. I see AJ Taku, a very regular fan on this platform, on this page. Thank you, sir. I also see Nasi Indi watching from Dubai. Becklon Lawson, I see you, sir. And I also see Imadi Emmet. I also see Dela and Gangu says watching. I see Danson Foncham is also watching. I see Joanne Atu. I see Paul Bokwe watching. Samba Pekin. I see you, sir. Mimi Bichi is also watching. Bonjo is also watching. Wisin Matzong watching. Jerry Acha watching. Joel Fongang watching. Amber First join. Carolina Fro join. Thank you all for joining. Ras B Ash Dero also watching. Please let me know where you're joining in from. We are over 400 people right now, and in 8 minutes, please hit the share button as you join. Hit that share button as you join. The moment we hit 1,000 people, I will come to you with this presentation. Let me know if the audio is good out there, please. Give me heads up and let me know that the audio is good enough, it's clear enough. Thank you. Again, I see Informe Gerard is watching. I also see Selma Tinsley watching from Oklahoma. Thank you, sir. I see Uchiba Achundo Nelson says, Mr. Secretary ahead. Thank you, sir, for the encouragement. I see Prince Greenville Ajo and Chris 80 join. I also see Tengu Imba says watching from Ground Zero. Thank you for tuning in. I also see Patricia, always, all the time on this platform. Emmanuel Lee, I see you. I also see King Baraka King is watching. Alfred Fonte also watching. Samuel Obi is watching. Ayuk John Jr. H.U.'s also watching. Prudencia Lama is watching. And if I cannot mention your name, it's not because I don't like you. It's merely because I just can't read all the names. I see over close to 500 people right now watching live. And you know, it is impossible to mention every name that is joining. So please, even though I don't mention your name, be excited and please hit the share button. Hit the share button and let the numbers grow. The moment we hit 1,000 people, I will start the presentation in no time. I see Prince Joshua Carr. Thank you, sir, for joining. Mambo Pena, I see you. Shitu Adamu. Say plenty of love to you and the entire interim government from Neoland. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that. I see Eric Mochi say watching live from Indobo, Bonaberry, Douala, Colonial Territory. Thank you. We have hit over 500 people right now. Again, the numbers are growing. Less than 400 to go until I bring you the presentation proper. So please, if you are just joining, go ahead, hit that share button. The moment we hit 1,000 people, I come to you with the presentation. In the meantime, I see Elias Mbelem join. I see Governor Etuk is also watching. Dennis Teko, I see you, sir. Francis Yu, thank you. Ekome Leone, I see you, sir. Hey, Chris, waiting for my hurricane. You definitely will have your hurricane. You will see your hurricane. I do not pronounce words here for pronunciation's sake or make declarations here for declaration's sake. You will see it. La Republic will see it and ignore those that mock. We mean what we say, you will find it. They will see it. Thank you for reminding me anyways. I see Wayne Austin. Darcy Consti say hello, sir. See Brownie Eric is always on this platform watching from Belgium. Thank you. And I also see Fonyu Nobed watching, Ernest Asoba watching from the United Kingdom. Please hit the share button. We are getting there very, very soon. When we hit 1,000 people, I come to you after the presentation. And again, this presentation today is loaded. The presentation is loaded. I see Asa Manucho, Crystal A1. Thank you for joining, Crystal. I see Larry Cooper. Thank you, sir, for joining from Ground Zero. I see Joseph Yetmo is also watching. Mick. I think I met Mick in the DC at the rally. Thank you for tuning in. Almost 600 people right now on this platform, ABC platform. Please go ahead as you join. Continue hitting the share button so others can come in. Those who do not know I am already live, let them come in. I have very, very vital information. And if you are a blogger, if you are a social media activist, I got an announcement for you. So please stay tuned and be excited. Macham, I see you from the United Kingdom. I don't know where you have been for all this while, but good to see you. Nelly Best, I see you say live from Afghanistan. That is not true. I don't believe that. And I see Sampak Fru, Sampak Join. Danson Foncham, I mentioned that before. Thank you, sir. Fisher and King, always here, always available. Thank you for joining. I also see Aniam Betos. Thank you. Joining from Dubai. Florence Kamak, watching from Paris. Thank you. Hooks Law, Smiley Summer, V Bluesman, Ambas Bay, Francis Webbin, Exodus DX, Tegan, and Kenga Song Elvis, Nana Donna. We are over 600 now, 600 and counting. Please, thank you so very much. Hit the share button. If you are just joining, hit the share button. Less than 400 to go. Less than 400 to go. And I mean, less than 400 to go before I bring you the presentation. Now, before I get there, while you are hitting the share button, I want to make a number of announcements. Number one, concerning the petitions to Donald Trump. The interim government is still looking for those petitions to be signed. So please, if you live in the USA or in Canada and you have not gotten those petitions to be signed and sent out, all that you need to do is, when you lay hands on a copy, print out the copy, print as many copies as you can. Take those printed copies to friends in your neighborhood. You can walk to a supermarket. You can walk to the church. You can walk to any plaza with a pen and wait there and appeal to people to sign to stand against genocide in the southern Cameroons and Amazonia. We need 100,000. The IG needs 100,000 of those petitions to go to the Honorable Donald Trump or President Trump as an appeal for him to stand with us in this time of trials in our country. Again, we have hit over 700 people. Thank you for doing so. Please, if you are just joining, keep on hitting that share button. Less than 300 to go, and before I bring you the representation. Now, I also would like to announce that the only reason why ABC has not come up the air was because of the conference last weekend. We got so focused on getting the conference to hold and kind of laid low on working on ABC. I want to assure those of you on Ground Zero, I believe by Friday, ABC, Amazonia Broadcasting Corporation will be watched from Ground Zero. I need some excitement for this, please. Again, by this time next week, I am pretty confident that ABC will be watched from ground zero. I am still to find out what the channel number is going to be on satellite. But you can rest assured I will bring you that information before the week runs out. So please do not worry. We are not an online platform. We are a regular TV channel that our folks, comrades, in every village and town and city in Ambazonia and in the colonial territory of Cameroon should be able to watch ABC starting at least Friday. And things are being put together right now. So ABC is coming on satellite by Friday. We're going to have a month period of testing just to make sure the signal quality is as good as it should be. So we will spend, beginning September 1st, a test period of 1 month. After that, we will formally launch ABC October 1st. That is next month. And then besides that, I also have this appeal to make to all our ground forces. La République du Cameroon has a plan, as I speak, to destroy all our troops, all our restoration forces before they carry on their elections on October 7. They have plans to bomb. They have drones that have tracked out their locations. And so we are appealing to all our restoration forces. Make sure you are not sleeping on the same place more than the number of times you should, because La République du Cameroon is bent on bombing your locations and killing you in your numbers. So please, if you can listen to the sound of my voice, get out from where you are. Go to a safer location. And remember, we must stop the elections, come rain or sun. So please, those were the announcements I wanted to bring to you again. Get the petitions. Let the petition be signed and get into the hands. Let's get them into the hands of Donald Trump. ABC Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation television will be on and live and satellite by the weekend. And again, we are appealing to our Amber Boys restoration forces on the ground to take note that La République du Cameroon has surveillance over their hideouts, and they are ready to bomb them, whether in the northern zone or in the southern zone. It's a project they have earmarked to undertake before they conduct their elections on October 7th. So please, do not put out yourself to be destroyed, to be killed by La République du Cameroon. Thank you for listening. Ladies and gentlemen, we have over 900 people and less than 100 to go. Thank you so very much. This is an enthusiastic audience. Thank you for doing so. So less than 100 people to go. And again, I bring you a very exciting, a very, very exciting presentation today. Thank you for joining in Watangi. Ambas Bay, I think I mentioned that. Raymond Rains, thank you, sir, for joining. Says ABC, we are waiting. Yes, indeed, you will find it. And I also see Silva Alberto. Thank you. I also see Brownie Eric. I mentioned that before. Michelo, I see you. Cho Wan Quinn. Thank you, sir, for joining. It says thanks to ABC. Thank you. I see Prince Jones. Prince. Thank you. Carolina Fro, I think I mentioned your name before. EMS Enjoy. Say hallelujah. ABC, oh yeah. Thank you. You are great. I also see Tanifon. Thank you for joining. I see Tabi Sami. Thank you. Tifo Muriel. Thank you. Alejandro Ladesma. Thank you, sir, for joining. Abongwa, Israel. Say good news for our people on Ground Zero. Thank you. They can rest assured that the next time I come on live, I think they did be able to watch me. Please, those numbers are dropping a little bit. They were up to 920 something. Now I'm seeing 911. If you have just joined, you may be the one to make up these numbers. Please hit your share button. I didn't just come over here to thank you. I see the numbers have just jumped to over 940 something. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hit that number and I'll bring you the presentation so soon. Again, I do not come here to entertain anybody. I come here only when I have very, very vital information to present to you. So please hit that number and let me come to you with the presentation. 936, as I can see here, the numbers have gone down a little bit. So please, and I'm holding on you to hit that share button. I see Judex West Allen. I see Spartan Spa. We shall be very happy to receive ABC in Ground Zero. You definitely will, Spartan. I see David Ajon. Says, I love this. I say, Cock Roland John. I say, ETS, Sam Jokam. So welcome, ABC in Amazonia. You definitely have it, sir. I also see the one and only Cuckoo that blinks, my able secretary. Thank you for joining. I see Philip Injorok. All ABC launch saboteurs can now run back. Thank you, thank you. No saboteurs out of ABC or of yours truly will succeed. ABC and myself, and I say this with all humility, made of iron. Again, made of iron. And you can rest assured, no attacks, no blackmail, no sabotage will get me out of here. Only a caterpillar can get me out of here. As long as I keep on saying the right things and doing the right things, I can assure you, you don't have to be worried. Many people have called me and said, Secretary Chris, please, just don't worry about the insults. Just don't worry about the attacks. And I tell them, don't be worried yourself. I am made of iron. And nothing will move me out of here. For the detractors and the enemies of this revolution to hijack it, that will not happen while I am still here. Thank you. We have over 955 to go. Sorry, 955 already, less than 40 to go. Please, we should have hit that figure by now. Hit that number and let's start. Let me bring you the presentation. Paddy King, John Jesus, thank you. I see Atta John has joined. Ngute Daniel, thank you. Terence Leker is also watching. Ngala Gideon is also watching. I see Insala Diodone join. I see Chio Wan Quang. Say thanks to ABC. I think I mentioned you before. I also see Tangi Ingo. Thank you. Tara Eva, I see you. I also see Castro Labisterano. Thank you for joining. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to come to you with the presentation. I really appreciate you for hitting the share button. And again, I really want you to know this is a very, very important broadcast that I bring to you. I want to believe that as you watch and listen, you will continue to hit the share button, and so that those who join can also keep on doing that. When they join, let them hit the share button, because this is a very, very important broadcast. The title of this broadcast is Only Ambazonians Have the Final Say. Again, the subject is Only Ambazonians Have the Final Say. Fellow Ambazonians, our revolution finds itself at the epicenter of events that need surgical response, else They make or mar our projected outcome for the revolution. We are faced with decisions concerning the return to school of our youth and children. We are faced with necessary and scrupulous action against French Cameroon's October 7th elections planned for our territory. We are faced with an increasing threat to our very existence in French Cameroon's brute force that continues to see our people gunned down at their prime, in their own homes, in schools, and in hospitals unprovoked. Threats to the revolution are also coming from the mountain zone, and of course the savannah zone CPD and blockheads, so-called elites and chiefs. We are also faced with security threats from an increasing fake Amber Boys phenomenon, who continue to harass, arrest, kill, and collect ransoms from innocent people in the name of this revolution. We are also faced with a vicious army and conscienceless regime that isn't hesitant the least to use chemical weapons and drones to kill people, the very people they want the world to believe are its citizens. And of course, what about the international community that continues to pay a blind eye while the octogenarian Paul Biya and his regime speed up their daily massacre of our people? The cards appear to be stacked indeed against all of us. In all of this, we must not forget they have one mission, one goal, that is to divide us, to demoralize us, especially those of you on ground zero. They want you to give up. They want you to start waving the white flag of surrender, and they want you to start confessing that we can never win this war, that it is impossible. Like in the likes of Dr. Simon Munzo, they want to break your resolve on ground zero to end support for the revolution and the idea and dream of our own country. They want you to begin to grumble and to confess that we are mere grasshoppers facing giants, like in the biblical story of the 12 spies. Fellow comrades, the good news is that in the midst of all of this, we see a new day that promises hope in the horizon. I am here referring to the resolve of our leaders to collaborate arising from the AACC in Washington, D.C. last weekend. While the details of the collaboration pact are still being worked out, that they at last came together, reasoned together, and shared from the same platform should give every Ambazonian hope that we are not in this existential conflict or threat with French Cameroon to lose. What happened in Washington, D.C., the fruit may be incoming, but those fruits are such that every one of us must nurture and groom to eventually manifest. The role that every Ambazonian would have to play in this newfound collaboration is to stand for the revolution, not necessarily for leaders and institutions. Standing for the revolution means objectivity in calling leaders to account, irrespective to what organizations they lead. It also means getting them to shape a new language, the language of inclusion, and not that of division. It means putting Ambazonia first, before the interim government, before the AGC, the SCYL, Morris and the SCNC, RAU, the consortium, you can name the rest. If we stand for the revolution and not for institutions and their leaders, the leaders will buckle up, knowing that they can be spit out at any moment they manifest self against collaboration and collectivity. You who coughs out the money for the prosecution of this revolution must begin to speak the language that unites, but also constructively demand continuous collaboration from the leaders. And leaders that attempt ignoring such collaboration must be held accountable. Going forward, this should be the force that unites us and sends adrenaline swirling down the bodies of our enemies and colonial master east of the Mongol. In the same vein, social media has a big role to play in cultivating this newfound spirit of collaboration. Our appeal to all social media activists is to see themselves first as Ambazonians and not as members of this or that group or organization. Every group will begin to sit up and walk right if social media would be unbiased, calling names only when necessary, or if and when they fall short, the leaders fall short of their expected commitment to collaboration. This is necessary, especially in the foreknowledge that organizations will always come and go, but our nation state, should we actualize it, will never go anywhere. It shall always, always, always be there. It is therefore incumbent upon us that our one and only loyalty go to our nation state first, before any group, the interim government included. It is for this reason that we at the Federal Department of Communications are announcing Ambazonia's first Bloggers Forum or Conference, the AABC, for September 22, that is next month. The forum is intended to bring together all social media activists or bloggers in this revolution to brainstorm and synergize the message of the revolution. The forum shall hold under the theme, Social Media and Blogging for the Revolution. Experts on social media and revolutions shall be key speakers. The forum shall hold by way of telecast. The general public shall be welcome to attend, but only known or accredited bloggers or social media activists should be allowed contributions. As I speak to you, we have now opened up registration for the social media conference. The registration can be found on this Amber ABC TV Facebook page right after this presentation. Consultations are ongoing with different social media activists towards organization. The conference shall end with a mega fund drive by the activists, and donations raised shall go into the joint account of frontline leaders intended for self-defense purposes. At this juncture, I would like to formally announce to you that the joint fundraiser conducted during the last weekend's All Ambazonia Consultative Forum or Conference raised a total of $50,000, while the frontline leaders have promised a joint statement to be issued in this effect, or to this effect, a joint account for the frontline leaders has been created to hold this amount until the leaders are decided on how to use the funds. I should also make it official that from today, donations to Ambazonia Foundation for last week's joint platform have ended. That means at this moment and going forward, joint fundraisers for the frontline movements shall only happen upon consultations by the leaders and upon announcement. I will also like to dispel the calls making rounds on social media for people not to make donations to groups of their choice, but to a joint account. That message is misguided, unfounded, and totally opposed by the interim government. And neither of the frontline leaders has endorsed the idea. Every person out there is encouraged to continue to support or donate to groups and causes they are loyal to. However, there is no doubt that moments will come when the leaders would deem it necessary to do joint fundraising that goes into a joint account. But until they do so, groups would continue to solicit donations independently for their own projects. Fellow Ambazonians, French Cameroon may have thought 1 week ago that they succeeded in sowing seeds of division, discord, and dismay amongst us. But Washington last week resurrected in us, and particularly on ground zero, such ecstasy and hope needed to push this revolution forward. Be not dismayed, be not discouraged, be not pessimistic. The state of our revolution remains very, very strong. Together as we did in Washington, D.C., holding hands, irrespective to which group we support, we will win this war. French Cameroon may have money and a trained army backed by the French, but they don't have the morale. The morale is on our side. The morale is with our restoration forces, and our resolve remains focused on nothing else than a free and independent Federal Republic of Ambazonia. Ambazonians, listen to me. French Cameroon does not have the final say over the outcome of this war. Not even the United Nations, not the AU or the EU, not the Commonwealth, not the United Kingdom, nor the United States. Only you Ambazonians have the final say. And that final say rests in our continuous resolve to defy all the brute force and joint army of French Cameroon and our allies to beat us down. Our final say rests in our resolve to overcome every one of their ploys aimed at dividing us and getting us to fight among ourselves. It must be our resolve not to listen to the language of the enemy that says, oh, they are too divided and cannot make it. They are fighting among themselves and cannot make it. They can't raise funds and so cannot make it. They are killing their people, and so they cannot make it. We have to close our eyes to all this negativity and focus on the good news. And the good news is that Black South Africa faced the same odds. They made it even when apartheid was official policy, and no one thought it was changeable. Southern Sudanese got independence, even when it was said they belonged to a one and indivisible Sudan, and that they could never rule themselves. Eritrea got independence when everyone said they could never or could not beat all-powerful Ethiopia. America had such a tattered army against the British known for our exploits in war. The Americans lost in Boston, but resilience gave them the final battle. Sir Winston Churchill became the envy of every world leader of his time, and even up to today, because of his resolve against all odds to beat Hitler and his advancing army against England. History is on our side. History is watching at us Amazonians. Our victory lies in our resolve, our determination, our ability to resist every form of trial and temptation that the enemy French Cameroon with its allies bring against us. Our destiny by the grace of God lies in our courage, our perseverance and determination, not to quiver and not to relent in our belief for a free and independent Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia. Now, on the subject of school return, fellow Ambazonians, the interim government has received a handful of opinion from people who think that it ought to allow schools to resume business this academic year. Why in the past we, at the interim government and other frontline movements, have objected to schools operating as a way of protest against the injustice against French Cameroon, or that French Cameroon has meted against us. The truth is that this interim government hasn't stopped schools from operating or parents from sending their children back to school. Though arising from the Washington Conference, the frontline leaders were unanimous about concerns for the security of the children going back to school. They did not say that schools should remain shut down. No, they did not. They were clear that the choice as to whether children should return to school or not should be that of the parents and the students. However, they also made it very clear that they cannot guarantee the security of any child going to school and that of the school open for business, considering the recklessness and the viciousness with which French Cameroon soldiers are killing our people. We recall, for example, the case of the nurse and the doctor killed recently in a Batibo hospital. Less than a week after that incident, Colonial Minister for Health was heard over Colonial CRO TV, telling the world how the doctor and the nurse were shot dead by our restoration forces. There are also cases where the terrorist soldiers of French Cameroon have killed innocent Ambazonians and then planted guns on their bodies to suggest that the victims were restoration fighters. In some other situations in Manu and in Bamenda, colonial French Cameroon soldiers are known to have killed innocent unarmed civilians, then changing the clothes on them, on the corpses, and wearing military uniforms on them to submit that restoration forces are killing La République du Cameroon soldiers. Incidences of brutality out in the University of Buea recently, the killings in Bambeli in the University of Bamenda, the amputation of students' hands in GBHS Bamenda remain too fresh in our memories to want to encourage any parent to send his or her child to school. And by the way, which schools are the students going back to in towns and villages that have been burnt down by the same army, by the same government? It is a known fact that French Cameroon has an agenda. A plot to kill all of the young people in Ambazonia because they believe our young people are the ones fighting them from the bushes. What assurance does anyone have that allowing these young people to come out of their hidings, that they will not be all slaughtered by the Republic of Cameroon terrorist soldiers? And how can we forget? We have over 200,000 internally displaced persons still living in the bushes, and another close to 200,000 living as refugees in Nigeria. Don't they too deserve education? Don't their children have to go to schools too? What schools will these ones go? And what about towns like Minji, Tombe, Ikondo Titi, Indu, Bambili, among others, whose only residents are the terrorist soldiers? How can anyone return to such towns under the circumstances? You want your child to go back to school, you have the right to do so. But do not depend or expect any safety or security measures from any of the revolutionary groups, including this interim government. Send your children to wherever you want for school. But please, do not look up to the interim government or other groups to provide safety and security for them and the schools, of course. So long as French is not part of the curriculum that features in any of our schools, and so long as terrorist soldiers are away from our towns and villages, and the security of school structures and that of the students are ensured, the interim government will have no problem, absolutely no problem, with children going back to school. Right now, this assurance isn't there. Education is a right. Education, the right education, is an inalienable right. The burden is French Cameroon to prove that it believes and upholds this principle by withdrawing its troops from school campuses in our towns and villages for children to get back to school. That is the position of this interim government on school resumption. The Southwest elite, fellow comrades, a meeting of bootlickers, sycophants, traitors of the revolution, men and women, so-called Southwest elite, took place in Boya the weekend. From their faces, you could see hunger, and from their resolutions, you could see their vaulting ambition for appointments, promotion, and contracts over the blood of people who have paid the ultimate price for this revolution. Do all these charlatans and sick people who gathered in Boya really consider themselves to be elites of the zone? Not even their master, Paul Biya, thinks they are. To Paul Biya and people like Bernard Okalia, these so-called elites are the real dogs amongst us. If they truly think they are the elite, why are they not in charge of their own towns and villages? Why do the elite of the people need 500 soldiers, 500 soldiers to protect them in the capital of their own territory? Why were they all hiding their faces in the cameras and trying so hard not to be seen in front of those cameras? How many of these so-called elites can go back to their hometowns or villages and pounce on their chests as representing the interests of their own people? Many of them will be stoned. The elites of the people, so cowardly enough, they meet under a war situation And none of them is courageous enough to call for an end to the war, a war that was declared on them. They are not courageous enough to condemn the displacement of their own families, their own people, and the burning down of their own towns. What they are quick to condemn and disavow is the courage of young men who have chosen to stand and fight for what a big empty head would not fight for. They condemn the idea of independence and join French Cameroon to call us separatists and secessionists. With utmost shrewdness, the functions, referring to our brothers and sisters in the northern zone as the problem, as foreign fighters, while thousands of foreign French Cameroon troops guard the same buildings they meet inside. And they have the right to say all that they said. But now that their conference is over, we hope they take up refuge in Yaoundé, because we saw all of them. We saw their faces. We have them in videos and pictures, and we know exactly where they have property and where they live. We have made it again and again crystal clear that not an ant, no elephant that betrays this revolution will go free. If you, the so-called elite, hate freedom this much, why not just pack your family and move to La République du Cameroon and allow us fight for our freedom? It is time you all pack out before you are packed out. You really don't represent the people. You must know this. Fellow Ambazonians, October 1st is around the corner, barely a month away. October 1st, you will recall, is the day we celebrated our independence, but under captivity. This one is, however, very special. It is special because we remember that only a year ago, around the same time, the world watched the interim government president, Sisiko Julius Ayuktabe, read the proclamation that formally restored the statehood of our country. At that time, some people consider it a joke, a thing so risky that they refuse to identify with the proclamation and the massive rallies that spontaneously graced that occasion. 1 year later, we are still defending that proclamation, contrary to what our detractors and naysayers thought. And we have been very successful doing so. Isn't it time we thank God we are still holding on to it? And isn't it but obvious that we come out this October 1st to once more declare our unshaken resolve to honor that event, that day, and those who have fallen since then? It is for this reason that the interim government has announced festivities marking the commemoration of October 1st this year to be very special. It is the right thing to do. October 1st is our own 4th of July. It is our own day of the Bastille, and we must honor it in a very befitting fashion. Acting President Dr. Sako has given it a special theme titled Ambazonia National Festival. The program is meant to run for 4 days, beginning September 28th and ending on Monday, October. During this time, we plan on unpackaging our heritage and culture as a people to the outside world so that the international community actually get to know who Ambazonians are and what we are made up of. All the other frontline groups are being consulted to be part of the manifestations. But if as independent groups, they have other festivities scheduled to mark the occasion, it is understandable. The interim government's goal is to get all state, regional, and country coordinators, restoration forces, and cultural organizations, churches, and mosques to mobilize for this event and invest in it to make it a success. It is incumbent upon us on this day to showcase our country to the world in pomp and color, so that the world knows exactly who Ambazonians are. Festivities shall take place at strategic cities in Africa, Europe, Asia, America, and of course Canada. A detailed plan shall soon be made available. But if you live anywhere in continental USA, know right now for sure that all routes lead to Washington, D.C. on September 28th this year. On the elections in French Cameroon, fellow Ambazonians, French Cameroon is about to force on us an election that we have banned in our territory. That election event will mark one of the deciding moments in this revolution. For us, it is about stopping it or nothing else. They are pushing their soldiers right now into our urban centers in Boya, Victoria, Kumba, Manfred Bamenda, Kumbo, among other places. They plan to unleash the greatest assault that we have yet seen on our restoration forces and on our people, to instill such amount of fear that stopped them from going out that day, with the result that they successfully carry out their election. As I report to you, ELECAM offices have been moved into these major centers, and they plan on making sure that the election takes place, at least in these areas, in these cities. Should they succeed to do so, it will mean we have forfeited that declaration of our sovereignty to them again. But we must have this in mind as we prosecute this revolution, that every moment it is our responsibility to always remind French Cameroon that anything they plan on our territory is an infringement on our territorial sovereignty and integrity. And we must do just that on the occasion of this election. This is the moment, and all our frontline leaders are agreed about this subject, that we must begin now to track down everyone aiding and abetting the exercise of this election in our territory. We must send the message strong enough, and by all means possible, now, to the hearing of all those sycophant criminals, chiefs, and elites, people who continue to sell our collective destinies. And they have done so for so many years that we know them, and that we know where they live, and that none of our brothers, none of our sisters, our parents will die anymore for their cavalier, selfish attitudes. I'm making an appeal for a defense of our sovereignty today. This is one of the moments we must choose to live free than live in chains. Let's make it unequivocally known to them, in their masters, that we all are determined to defend our land with all that we have left. that anyone who attempts to vote or plan on voting or to host any electum office or seen entering that office must be treated as a traitor or will be treated as a traitor. In fact, any electum office or voting center found anywhere in our territory should be considered an abomination and hastily brought down. But I have an appeal to make to you right now. For us to succeed in this particular mission, in this venture, our restoration forces must be equipped fully with what they need to defend the land and our people against this election. I'm asking for 1,000 die-hard Ambazonians who will put down $100 or at the least $50 now, so that our defenders, our defense forces can get the equipment they need before mid-September. We must want to make sure they do not run out of supplies. And I am actually taking upon myself to do this, just so that we are not let down. Wherever you live, USA, Canada, Asia, please take this challenge as if the success of stopping this election depends entirely on you. It will send a message to a lot of people to Cameroon that we are a no-nonsense people, and that at any time, we will not hesitate to put our money where our mouths belong to protect ourselves. Please make the donation now. And please, I can assure you that this money will go directly to our boys, and you will know exactly what came in. Thank you for trusting me. And thanks for tuning in. God bless you. And God bless Ambazonia. And remember, we must live free or fight till victory comes. Again, thank you for listening. I just made an appeal to you about a donation that I am personally going to make sure those donations go to the ground to our defense forces, wherever they are, irrespective to what group they belong to. We have to do everything that we can to stop this election, this illegal election, from taking place in our territory. Our defense forces, our restoration forces, they have a task in their hands, and we cannot wait till October 7 to empower them to carry out this exercise. I am appealing to you, every Ambazonian who cares about this revolution. Please, I am appealing to you. I need 1,000 Ambazonians, wherever that you may be, wherever that you live. If you can come out with $100 or at least $50, we would have raised enough money to fortify the resources that our restoration forces and defense forces already have in their hands. And I can assure every frontline leader who has forces on the ground that this money will also come to them. So please, I am pleading to you, every one of us. This is our collective interest. Please get to your phone right now. I want to give you the donations channels right now, the donation links right now. Get to your phone right now and make the donations. I have a text to donate number that I want to give you. Please, somebody put it on the screen. The text to donate number is BOYA 41444. Again, the text to donate number is BOYA 41444. If you can text to donate your $50 or your $100, please, that is the number you want to use. And I want you to know, and I want you to send me an email When you make your donation, because if you send me an email that you made a donation, I will verify to make sure your donation goes into this cause. If you will send me an email at cano@ambazoniagov.org to let me know you donated, I will assure you, I will write back to you to acknowledge your donation. Again, send me an email after your donation to cano@ambazoniagov.org. The other donation channel, you can use your Cash App. You can use your Cash App to donate at $Ambazonia Foundation. Again, the number is, the link is the $Ambazonia Foundation, or you can just use this phone number, which is 301-850-8135. Again, the number you can use to do a Cash App donation for this particular mission. Please listen to me. These donations are not going into the interim government's budget. They are going directly for a project that aims at stopping this election in our country, this illegal election in our country come October 7th. We must start to make provisions to our restoration forces and defense forces to stop this election. It must happen, as we have wasted our time fighting for our freedom. We must stop this election. And again, please, I am pleading with you. Go in there now. Make your donation. Your donation, I will personally make sure everything is accounted for. And it will go to, the donation will go to every leader, every frontline leader with forces on ground zero. I will give you the account of what is collected. I need 1,000 Ambazonians to give me and for our people, our restoration forces, $100, or at the least $50. These funds will go directly to fund our restoration forces to stop this illegal election in our territory. So again, the Cash App number is 301-850-8135. And you can also use the PayPal connection, PayPal email, and the PayPal email is treasurer@ambazoniafoundation.org. Again, that email, the PayPal link or link for donation is treasurer@ambazoniafoundation.org. If you have to write a check, or a money order, you can post your check or money order to P.O. Box 323, Bowie, B-O-W-R-E. Again, P.O. Box 323, Bowie, B-O-W-R-E. Maryland, that is MD, with a zip code 20719. Again, the zip code there is 20719, USA. Again, I have given you all these links. I am pleading with you. The interim government did not ask me to raise this money, but I am raising this money out of the burden for our ground forces, our restoration forces, enough equipment in their hands, whatever that they will need to stop this election in our territory. I am asking for 1,000 of you. I have 1,000 looking at me right here on this platform, 1,000. At a point in time, it went up to 1,002. Right now, we have 1,000. Just imagine if every one of you would chip in $50 or $100. Imagine how much that will come up to. Please, if you care about the victory of this revolution, if you care about our ground leg soldiers having what they need to defend our territorial integrity against this fraudulent and illegal election planned for our country, please call this, get any of these links and make a $100 donation or a $50 donation. I give you the links again. If you want to text to donate, please, the number you want to text is BOYA 41444. Again, the texting link is BOYA 41444. For those that would like to do Cash App, the number is 301-850-8135. Again, that number for Cash App, 301-850-8135. And for those who would love to donate by means of PayPal, the email address is treasurer@ambazoniafoundation.org. Again, that email address is treasurer@ambazoniafoundation.org. And if you want to write a check and mail it, you can use this postal address, and that address is P.O. Box 323, Bowie, MD, that stands for Maryland, 20719, area code. Again, I'd like to know that you have donated. When you make your donation, send me an email at the address canu@ambazoniagov.org. Again, you can reach me to confirm your donation on the email canu@ambazoniagov.org. And for those of you who would like to make your donations on the website, please go to ambagov.org. Again, you can make a donation right now online at ambagov.org. Or you can also use ambazoniafoundation.org. If you get on any of this platform, any of these websites, you will be able to make a donation. Thank you very much. And I deeply appreciate your kindness and your generosity. This war is our war. We will never say we have given enough, not until we get to Boya. And please, please, we need 1,000 people, 1,000 people to make this donation right now. I thank you for tuning in. Remember, let's begin to remind everybody that all routes lead to Washington, D.C. on September the 28th to celebrate our independence that day. God bless you. God bless Ambazonia. Short live the struggle.